Hey guys, I hope you're doing well. Is anybody else in a season of transition? I mean, like major life transition from one season to another. I'm not just talking about like how we have gone from summer to fall and how, we're moving from fall into winter, but I'm talking about like a life season, like maybe going like me from a healing and development season to, a building and renewing your vision season, or maybe the opposite. Maybe you are going into a healing and resting and developing and all of that season, whatever it may be. Is anybody else in transition? I wanted to share with you how I am closing the door to the last season and era of my life so that I can make true room to welcome in this next era. It is an activity that came to me. I had been thinking of, okay, how can I really just go ahead and almost memorialize and close out the last phase of my life, essentially. And, I was like, oh, maybe I'll do like a funeral for the old me, or maybe, I had different ideas, but this is the one that I was like, this one is it. And it is to go back through various versions of myself. I'm going to do it over the last, I think, 5 years. And, I've printed out some pictures of myself from each of those years, and I'm just going to write little letters to myself, the version of myself from each of those years, and just say thank you. Thank you, Raven of 2020, for doing X, Y, and Z to move forward, in your healing and development journey. Basically, thanking the former versions of myself for all of the efforts and the commitment to the journey and the overcoming and all of that, whatever is relevant for each of those years. And I have the pictures here. I'm going to paste them in my scrapbook, write the letters there, and I'm going to let that be my release and move forward, to not look back, to not feel like, anything was wasted, and to not do this thing that sometimes I know that maybe I'll speak for myself. I know I have done, and I think other people tend to do it too, which is to kind of demonize yourself for not knowing what you know now back then. And so by going back and just saying thank you, it is a reminder that, hey, I needed to be at that stage doing whatever it was that I was doing then in order to even continue moving forward to be where I am now, so that I can go into this next era of my life. And so I'm going to do that. That is my way to not necessarily just close out the year, although I do encourage you, like maybe you're not going through a major transition, but it is a way that you can close out your year and like look back on each month. Maybe it's not the last 5 years for you. Maybe it's just this year, and you want to look back on each month and, celebrate whatever it was that was going on, maybe what you accomplished, or maybe what you overcame, or maybe even just the commitments you made to yourself and to your goals, or whatever it may be. And so I am going to share that with you guys. I'll put a couple clips of me actually doing the activity, but it is so important. I think I heard someone say this and it resonated with me so much, because I don't think I've done this in previous seasons, but to acknowledge, the close of one chapter, and go ahead and sometimes almost ritualize the close of that chapter in order to release whatever needs to be released and make room for what is to come. And of course, I've talked about needing to clear things out physically and, to actually get organized in those things. But I'm talking about the actual, emotional, spiritual version of closing the door so that you can fully release yourself into the next chapter. And so that's what I'm going to do here. I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up here. I'll show you guys what the end product looks like. I don't know if I'll finish it all tonight, because I like to be a little bit extra. So I might just have to come back and add in a clip of, what the finished product looks like if I don't finish tonight. But I encourage you to do it. Let me know in the comments if you are going to do a similar activity, whether it be this one or something else, to go ahead and ritualize the close of a chapter, to ritualize the close of the year. 2025 is coming to an end. It's now November, if you're watching this in 2025. And so how are you going to close out your year? How are you going to acknowledge, the different versions of you that were committed to the journey that got you here? And how are you going to go ahead and prep your space mentally and spiritually, specifically, for the next chapter, for the next year, for the next era, whatever that looks like for you. Let me know in the comments, and I will be back to show you the finished product. So let's go.